The fascinating images depict a young laid-back and fun-loving queen in the few years before and after her historic coronation and feature a never-before-seen side of her personality, with the images stretching back 4 decades. One picture of the young Elizabeth taken in the early 1950s appears to show her larking around by breaking into a huge comical grin at Balmoral in Scotland. In this image, she wears a checked coat and beret-style hat teamed with brown leather gloves, proof the now 92-year-old was a style icon in the making. In another picture, the Queen is dressed in military uniform, seemingly atop a horse with a cluster of impressive medals on display. She is mid-salute in the picture, but appears to be either grinning or trying desperately not to giggle. A third snap of Queen Elizabeth shockingly shows her kneeling on the grass with her hands in her pocket. She is knelt next to Lord Mountbatten, who is casually laid on the floor looking deep in thought. Behind them, crowds are watching her in amazement, but an aloof Elizabeth keeps her eyes focused on the event. Another slide shows the Queen taking photos with her very own camera surrounded by her family. And it would appear photography was her hobby, as in the next picture she is captured smiling to herself at a different horse event wearing a knitted jumper and her old-fashioned camera draped around her neck. The same camera is round your neck a third time when she is snapped listening intently to her late mother, who wears a blue hat and pearls. The archive jumps from the early to late 1950s as the next picture, taken in 1957, shows her dressed far more formally in an intricate blue dress suit with matching hat and white gloves. It also appears to the first appearance of her trademark handbag, which sits firmly on her wrist. The last in the Aladdin's cave of pictures shows the Queen in the 1970s with communist leader Josip Broz Tito at a then-Yugoslavian airport. In this, she wears a royal blue coat and quirky blue and white hat while meeting a crowd while carrying colorful flowers. Other fascinating pictures show with young Prince Philip squeezing a wet cloth over his head in an attempt to cool off at a competitive polo match. Others show Prince Charles and the late Princess Diana during their engagement in the early 1980s and the immediate aftermath of their wedding in 1981. The amazing images were taken by royal photographer John Scott when he was given unprecedented access to the royal family and the late Princess of Wales from the 1950s to the 1980s. The photographer, who is a Yugoslavian aristocrat who spoke 10 languages, passed the archive down to his secretary Judy Appelbee before his death in 1986. Now, the 80-year-old is selling them in an auction with the lot expected to peak at £10,000. Auctioneer David Lay, of David Lay FRICS, said, "During my many years as an auctioneer we have handled quite a few photographic collections, but this is undoubtedly one of the most remarkable archives I have ever seen." In the UK and indeed many other parts of the world, the fascination with the British royals is unwavering, and here we have an archive that documents 4 decades of their lives. The auction takes place June 14.